in Rhode Island have bills, as well as New York, that would require Amazon, as well as everybody else, to sell ebooks to libraries with, quote, reasonable terms, end quote.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Craig Peterson here. Just got off the phone with Mr. Jim Polito, and we had some fun talking about libraries, Jeff Bezos, and even George Orwell got into the act here. Anyhow, here we go with Mr. Jim Polito.
Hey, Amazon started off as a place to sell books. You know, online books. And they basically destroyed the bookstore. I mean, we contributed to it. But now, it seems that they're out to destroy libraries? Taking over the world isn't enough for these folks? I don't know. That's the accusation. Well, let's see if we can confirm it. Let's bring in our good friend and tech talk guru of CraigPeterson.com, the man who that website is named after, Craig Peterson. Good morning, Craig.
Hey, good morning, Jim.
Oh, so here's the deal. We were just talking a little while ago about Jeff Bezos. Started with his garage, selling books out of there, then mail order. Then all of a sudden, they sold everything. They basically changed retail. They made what we told online shopping would be like 25 years ago. People said, oh, no, you're going to be buying everything online. We said, sure, we will. But we are. COVID helped that. Now there's talk that he's going to close libraries. Wait a minute. Is this a wild accusation?
Well, it is kind of wild, and it's certainly an accusation. Unfortunately, it's also true.
Whoa.
If you look at the way libraries work over the years, Jim, you go in and you borrow a book. Well, where did that book come from, right? The library bought it. Libraries, for a long time, have been paying more for a book than you would. You might go to the bookstore and you pay $20 for the book, but the library is going to pay a lot more for that same book, $50, even $100 sometimes. So Jeff Bezos is doing right now is, okay, great. You've been paying for these books overpriced, sometimes as much as $100 for one ebook, and it can only be lent so many times. That ebook can, if you want to have 5 copies of that book out for people to read, you have to buy 5 licenses.
Wow.
That's what it's being.
All right, so wait a minute. Let me just make sure, let me make sure I understand this. So in the old days, before we had, you bought a book online and you read it on your Nook or whatever. Hold on a second. So if I was buying a book for a library, I paid a higher rate because the library knew you were going to be loaning that book out, yada, yada, yada. Almost like the publisher said, hey, we want a little bit more than the average person for this book. Is that true?
Absolutely true.
Okay. All right. So now I get this. You have intellectual property. You have a book that is virtual. I mean, it's online.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a library and you want to let people be able to read that, download it and read it, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, if he will sell it to you. See, that's the change that's happened more recently. Jeff Bezos has decided, well, Amazon, right? I'm not sure it was him personally, but they've decided that it will not sell at any price downloadable versions of its more than 10,000 ebooks it publishes. Think about an acquisition that Amazon made a few years ago. I have been an Audible subscriber for many, many years. Of course, Audible is the company that sells audio versions of books.
Yes.
Amazon bought Audible. Amazon has said, okay, you used to be able to go and borrow tapes. I remember doing that.
At the library,
but
sure.
And you listen as you're driving or whatever, shop on the latest business book or mystery, whatever you wanted. So Bezos also owns Audible, which is number one for audio books. They say, hey, listen, not only are we not going to sell any of our ebooks to libraries, but we're not going to let them get any audiobooks either.
Wow. Now that is pretty bad. Look, from a business perspective, I understand you're selling a product that now, why would someone buy it if they could just join the library and download the ebook? There's got to be somewhere in between. So libraries will be destroyed. I mean, libraries are great places for research and other things, and talented librarians can help you out quite a bit. A talented librarian sometimes is a lot better than what Google will tell you when you go into a search about a certain topic. Librarians are much better and don't usually have an agenda like Google. You should buy this while you're researching that. You know what I mean? This could completely destroy libraries.
Well, we've got, of course, we're on in Rhode Island, and right now lawmakers in Rhode Island have bills, as well as New York, that would require Amazon, as well as everybody else, to sell ebooks to libraries with, quote, reasonable terms, end quote.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maryland has already passed a law like that. But this is a real problem as you go forward. Now, remember, Amazon is the one. You mentioned the Kindle, or actually you mentioned the Nook.
I mentioned Nook.
Amazon
That's Barnes & Noble, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, whoever they are.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Barnes & Noble's is on the phone. Oh, I'm sorry. Danny, don't take that call. Yeah.
Yeah, so whoever they are, Amazon has the #1 ebook reader. Now, for those that have never done this, an ebook reader allows you to keep hundreds of books right there in this little, almost like a display. They're fantastic. That's how I read 99% of my books. So they've got the #1 ebook reader out there. And because of that, they kind of control the whole thing. But if you bought George Orwell's 1984, you might remember, this is a few years back, Amazon decided you couldn't have that book anymore and removed it from everybody's ebook reader, all of the Kindles.
Yeah, what was the reasoning behind that? Because I thought that 1984 was no longer under copyright, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it is. The copyright holders told Amazon that they didn't like the terms Amazon was putting the books under, so Amazon pulled them all back. That's another problem with ebooks, especially with digital rights management. They can take them away. That copy that you have of those Dr. Seuss books could disappear from your Kindle because you don't own it. You see, if you buy a book, and you read the book and you want to have a yard sale and sell the book for $1 or whatever it is, you can because you own that book. But if you get a book from Amazon on your Kindle or any of these other places, you don't own it. In almost every case, you're just getting a right to read it. Yeah. And they can pull it back.
You know, it's interesting. My neighbor across the street, when he retired, Dominic and his wife, Lucy, she's a school teacher. She's still working. He built one of those beautiful boxes that looks like a really big birdhouse with a glass door, and it's for the neighborhood. Put a book in, take a book, whatever. He can do that because people own the books. You own it.
Right.
Good. Hey, whatever happened while we're on this topic with Apple and Apple Music when I downloaded a song for 99 cents and I thought I owned that song? Did they change this? I technically didn't own it.
Yeah, you never have, actually. That's the way they're doing it nowadays. Apple said, hey, listen, we're going to do this, and Amazon did too. It's going to be much cheaper for them to distribute it. But again, think back. You and I both remember albums, like records.
Of course.
The black vinyl, before that, of course, the acetate and other things. And we switched over to CDs, the compact disc. People don't know what those are these days either. It was much, much cheaper for the record industry to produce a CD than it was to produce a record. Much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
And their costs went from a couple of bucks down to just a dime. But they charged more for the CD.
Yeah.
What Amazon did, more margin, is they said, hey, listen, guys, your distribution costs are going to be nil because all you're doing is copying digital books around. You're not going to have a warehouse. You're not going to have to ship these. You're not going to have trucks or anything else. We expect you to sell them for less. And Amazon, using its market power, strong-armed these publishing houses to lower the prices. Now the publishing houses are really pushing back and saying, no, you can't tell me I can only sell it for $10 and make $9.99, whereas before I was only making $2. I want more money. And it's a shame, but that's what's always happened.
Then you're Don Quixote, and you're going after windmills because you're going up against Amazon. This is one of the dangers of a big success like Amazon. You know what's sad is in the whole thing, 1984. Isn't it ironic that George Orwell's book about Big Brother and this and that, you can't get it on Amazon when, in fact, the people using Amazon should know a little something about Big Brother, and it would be a good book for people to read right now. And no, it's
well, you
a shame.
can get it.
What?
Yeah, it was just temporary. You can get it.
Oh, you can get it now. Okay. All right, good. I'm glad his descendants have, and they've worked it out. Craig, fascinating as usual with you. Folks, we always podcast these segments, which you can get on the station website. Go to the Jim Polito Show. On that page, you'll see Jim's podcast on the right-hand side. Just click there, and this will be podcasted. Craig, if folks want to get more information from you, how do they do it?
Well, just go online to CraigPeterson.com. And I also have my iHeart podcasts. And if you want to listen to those, you can just go to CraigPeterson.com/iHeart. It'll take you to the right spot. I was listening in France to iHeart so I could pick up my safe space.
Nice. Craig, as usual, thank you. You always bring great stuff to the table. We'll talk with you next week.
Take care, Jim. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you're in the healthcare industry, I am speaking for the big Massachusetts Association this Friday. I am conducting a webinar for them on, of course, cybersecurity, particularly in the healthcare industry. If you are a member of an organization of some sort and you'd like to have me on and do a webinar for you guys too, let me know. I do make some time available for that, and I may be able to help you out. Just email me, M-E, at CraigPeterson.com. I know a few of you guys are going to be there on Friday at 10 a.m., I think it is, as we go over healthcare industry stuff. And I'm also going to be doing a few more webinars afterwards, delving into some of these topics a little bit deeper. All right, everybody, take care. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.